We're live too.
All right, we're live. We're gonna call this November planning meeting to order. Do we have any minutes that we need to approve from last meeting?
No, we haven't improved minutes, although it is a routine.
Maybe.
Probably should.
We never have.
Do we
I
have
didn't bring the minutes from last time. They're online.
Okay.
But look, we can start doing that.
Yeah, let's do that in December.
Appropriate,
Yeah. Okay, so we got a couple referrals here. Go right ahead, Pam.
All right, yes, there are a few. The first project is under the Village of Fort Edward Planning Board consideration for site plan approval. The applicant is Adirondack Graceful Arts, William King, and the address is 128 Broadway. And the project is to expand business, essentially to make more space for his business. So currently he occupies a storefront on the Main Street of Broadway, Fort Edward. And then there's a red barn on the property in the back. And so it's moving to the back. And it's a consignment crafting business, and it's to date had very limited hours within the village business district. And I have not noticed lots of traffic, but it's the type of use that would be expected down in the business district. So I just considered possibility of it being a matter of essentially local concern.
Yeah, agreed. Motion for local concern
Second.
made by Pamela, second.
Can she?
You know, made by Paul. There we go.
Are you new to this group?
No.
I've been on Zoom.
Oh.
We don't look up there.
Yeah.
We have just the three working members. So
Oh, so I'll motion for matter of local concern.
Second.
Second. There we go. All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. This one.
Okay, the second one is another project under the Village of Fort Edward Planning Board consideration for site plan approval. It's the applicant is Ryan Gilligan, Trixie's Q and Brew, 49 Broadway, and this is for a billiard hall. And the purpose of GML review is 500 feet of State Route 4. The proposed project is to open a billiard hall at a location where there was already an established pool hall for many years. Prior proposals at this location over the past year and a half or so required a hard look at traffic volumes. There was a motorcycle club that was considering it. That fell through. The proposed business use is not expected to impact traffic differently than the previous pool hall, and the local board is looking at parking requirements and capacity. Proposed hours of operation are 7 days from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. Closing Fridays and Saturdays.
This is already established business, right? Isn't it right around the corner?
I don't know about Trixie's Q and Brew. I've
Well,
never seen that
this
before.
became an autistic place for a short period of time before COVID.
Yes, it was.
It was
And-
formerly.
And at that
Yeah.
time, when we reviewed that project, there were some questions to parking capacity or something, and something about the ownership of the parcel nearby and the wetland. I don't know, it was, but I think that the town has added that, so far as I can tell. So in terms of intermunicipal impacts, I don't imagine it's going to change traffic to.
I make a motion, it's a matter of local concern.
Second. All in favor, say by saying aye. Aye.
Third project is listed under other. In fact, the third and the fourth one, and we are treating it as a GML referral. It's just that it didn't get publicly noticed through the county, so it's under other. Project is under the Town of Kingsbury Planning Board consideration for site plan approval. It's called A&C Auto Work. 3614 Burgoyne Avenue, County Route 37. And this is already a location used for auto. In fact, we saw a referral come through recently where the car sales was moving to the intersection of Dix Avenue, where the owner has another location. And so this is a new business, I guess, but related to auto work. And they're looking into getting a permit so that they can do fluid changes. State permit. And then this is within 500 feet of County Route 37 or Burgoyne Avenue and County Route 41, Notre Dame. So they're going to open and operate automotive repair business for light and medium duty vehicles and get permitted to fluid changes. Lot will have no more than 10 vehicles at a time. They're planning on having crushed stone parking for customers on the north side of the building, which I measured as greater than 400 feet from the intersection of County Routes 41 and 37. It appeared that the sightlines were adequate and the previous commercial use at this location, was, as I said. And they're going to put a sign in front of the building that's 3 by 5. So I would suggest the matter of consent to concern on that one.
With the
Second.
second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
I love these maps.
I like them, they are just the GM,
What's it?
Yeah, but I
The
just don't know where
GIS.
they are.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
It's great to get a visual,
It's not have to hunt it out.
right?
I think I know this.
The fourth project is a project under the Town of Hartford Planning Board consideration yet for site plan approval. The applicant is Douglas Durkee and Sandra Durkee, and they have an established LLC called Ruby Way. The address is 129 County Route 17, and I'll just state the tax ID is 122.1-26, and this is to convert a barn to an event space. The purpose of GML review is 500 feet of County Route 17 and within 500 feet of the boundary of farm operation in Ag District 7. Proposed project is to open a wedding barn, event barn. The barn structure will be converted into an event space. Site plan drawing shows the location of entrance and egress. Google Images show sight lines from the driveway. I added those to get a clear sense of that. EAF does not indicate total acreage to be disturbed, so is it correct that no expansion or paving of the driveway or parking area are proposed? So in that sense, there was not any information about the parking. The applicant and its capacity, although we did receive a sketch plan, I saw no details as to sewage and water capacity or how that's going to be dealt with. For instance, some wedding venues do use rented fancy porta potties and all. And the building capacity and hours of seasons of operation. So all of that was not in the application for us to understand the project better. An active venue could change traffic volume significantly depending on how often. There could be issues of noise nuisance. And I put in a little note there, just it's not about intermunicipal impact so much, but did the applicant meet the site plan review information requirements? Because on the checklist, there's specific checklists that the town has in their site application review documents. And some things were like NA, some things were checked, some things were left blank. And so I'm just wondering, as a courtesy to the town, is this adequate? Did they meet that requirement? Something that came up. There's another note about the pictures. If you notice the picture,
I noticed when you're 17, it's paid.
So if you notice on the picture that's adjacent to, or on the next page next to the on the ground visuals.
Yep.
That on the parcel that proposed, it's the one on the left here. It didn't look like there was any development, and I don't know what date this GIS map was taken. But when you look at the pictures that I took at eye level view, no, on the same page here, yeah, just the snapshots that show
Oh, they built the barn already?
the barn, yeah.
So that's the concern.
And so this, and so I'll let Laura take over from here.
If you look at our county GIS records, this parcel is listed as vacant land. The application is for a change of use to an existing structure. The pictures that were provided show a newly constructed barn with a crane in front of it. So I think as Dan can say, like, our responsibility is limited, but perhaps a note to the Hartford Planning Board that they might want to take a closer look.
For building permits.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, they don't have fun.
But for our purposes, they're fairly limited, so.
So we want to refer back to the Hartford Planning Board for,
So we could either say we don't have enough information, or we could say it's a matter of local concern with these events, which is oftentimes what we do when we want to point something out.
okay, let a motion, matter of motion concern with the specific comments in regards, the comments listed that we listed in the summary?
No, because that's just for us, our
Yeah.
guide, so two comments as per our discussion.
Okay, all right. So building permits,
That it's vacant land, but it's,
And also, water flow, like if they disturbed
right,
wetland areas and put in a driveway.
That's
That-
another point to make, in that I ran the EAF mapper just to make sure I could find the address, because the application was not a full statement. They submitted page 1 of the 4 pages of the draft EAF. And so it was filled out and sent to me to the best of the, as I assume, to the best of the knowledge of the person filling it out. But when I use the EAF mapper, it checked off wetlands, whereas there's the one that was submitted, that had signs that none. It may be minor, but there may be some federal wetland there. Yeah, it's a good point to note that when something is constructed, there can be changes to water flow, and it's illegal to push water off your property line.
right.
So far as I know, I'm not a lawyer. That's how I understand it.
Obviously, so with vacant land, there's an address, which is the parcel, correct?
So it's interesting because there in most places, there is no such thing as 129, which is the address. But Pamela did find a reference to it one place. That's another comment is, has there been an application for a 911 address? Or is that address pre-existing? But according to all the GIS records and Google Maps, there is no such address.
I didn't see this one.
That's-
Just rolling up, I could just, I
That was
could
the 420 phone call yesterday.
just see John Graham going, where's that building coming from?
That's what I said, our job is limited.
I second
So was there a motion?
Yeah, I motion, yeah. Second,
the comments, right?
the comments, yeah. All those in favor, submit say aye. Aye.
And the rest here are APA notices. There's a reissued permit from 2014. This has to do with the Adirondack Place or Adirondack Camp up in town of Putnam, where they'd like to expand to replace and resite a health center. So they have no permit through the APA. The second is a minor public notice. 2022-0233, application received, town of Putnam, Iroga Beach Lane, in an area designated at moderate intensity. Proposed 2-lot subdivision on 1.1 acre to create a 0.75 acre lot with existing dwelling and a 0.35 acre lot to improve with single family dwelling 75 feet from the shore of Lake George.
Just Glen Burden.
I don't.
It's probably. See if the owner doesn't matter. Oh, this, no, it's not. That's Essex, sorry.
Oh. And then the third one, application received from the town of Putnam on County Route 3. Designation resource management, conversion of a pre-existing single-family dwelling into a multiple-family dwelling through the addition of an in-law apartment. Public notice to 2022-0255, application received, town of Dresden, proposed designation rural use on County Route 6, and it's for a 2-lot subdivision involving wetlands, creating a substandard size lot.
County Route 6?
Yeah. And major project public notice 2022-0024, previous planning agency review in August, or notice to planning agency August 2022, application determined, conditionally approved, permit issued. This is for shoreline stabilization, town of Fort Anne, Travis Point, waiver all use designation. So those are those, and so of course we, as usual, we're always invited to offer written comments, but generally.
Just kidding. Daryl's right.
It's an application for Carol.
Yep.
That's why I was like, wait a minute, County Route 6.
And then
I missed that.
on your draft report, there's a few admin things that didn't get on it.
Okay.
One is that they sent to a resolution setting public hearing on proposed local law blank and the local law to amend chapter 179 of zoning of Queensberry. So it's like a nice neighbor notification, town code to regulate specific cannabis business and then requirements related to agriculture. It just reads. Section intends the town board wishes to amend chapter 179 of Queensberry Town Code to regulate specific cannabis business and amend use requirements related to agriculture. The amendments are necessary and desirable to protect the public health, safety, welfare, and environmental resources, provide a consistent regulatory pathway for the cannabis industry consistent with state regulations, foster a healthy, diverse, and economically viable cannabis industry that contributes to the local economy, and ensure that environmental, public health, safety, and nuisance factors related to both the cannabis industry and agriculture are adequately addressed. And we probably have received this because just as notification that there could be intermunicipal impacts down the line or not, but just to let us know that it's happening. And if there's no comment on that, and I can circulate this to everyone who's interested. Now, the second item of admin is that the Board of Supervisors admin sent an email to me last week suggesting a possible change in date for the December planning agency meeting to the week before because it would otherwise fall during the holiday week.
Okay.
And then they gave me 3 dates. I said, well, I suggested, well, perhaps keep it on a Tuesday since we're kind of familiar with that Tuesday-ish. Exactly. So they haven't made their final decision, but keep an eye out for a note about that timing. And I'll notify the boards accordingly. And then the third thing is this, this report of final action form. I keep learning more and more about GML 239. And according to the law, and apparently when this was a board, they used to require this, but the final step for the local referring board to the planning agency is to provide us with a report of final action. So I'm just leaving this draft with you, and you can take a look at it, and if you have any suggestions or changes to this form, just email me, or we'll go over it next meeting and say, yes, it's okay to use, or no, fix it. And then moving forward, I'll send a memo out to all the municipal courts saying that this is going to be one of the requirements.
What have they been using in the past? Just sending us referrals?
They're just sending us referrals with, and the requirement is that it's a full statement, which is listed on the front page for the planning agency for them, and then for me to review to make sure that, but this is actually something that's also required.
Okay.
FYI, when we had a county planning agency, these were done, but somehow it got lost in translation when, and so Pamela very cleverly picked it up. It will also help her because there also needs to start being an end of year summary.
Yeah.
And this will help her to collect information to make it easier.
Which on that note, I'm going to start building that database of the more projects that come this way. So we have an easy
Easier tracking system.
tracking
Yeah.
system and to do the report for the first one that I've done this
Okay.
coming.
So just review this, Deb, myself.
Mhm.
Good.
And then you want to take action on it in November
We can,
or in December, I mean.
we could do that. I mean, it's been this long, unless you don't have any comments just by glancing at it, but I wanted to give you a fair amount of time to look at it, so.
Are we skipping the end of November and going right to December? 'Cause- Do we have a meeting?
There were two planning agencies.
Oh, no, we don't.
scheduled in November. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
there is
because-
one to November, in November.
Yeah, there should be one at the
The
end of
4
November.
weeks, yeah. Oh,
It's-
yes, that we will be there.
This happens once in a while. when
Yeah.
the
The calendar
supervisor
say
says.
yes. Yeah.
So we'll see you again soon.
Yes.
Okay.
soon.
Okay, so we can talk about, let's just review it, but we can talk about it.
So that's all the business that the planning agency has today.
Any questions, comments, Tom? Francis?
And in your research, have you seen any form like that that deals with complaints?
I haven't, but I could,
Because I find like we get anonymous complaints, and it's like, if you don't give me a name, then I don't think it's.
You mean a general complaint form or a
No,
complaint
complaint.
related to plan?
Related. Okay. And building permits. So
I'll see if I can
it
find.
seems like there should be a template. that it's already-
Something that can actually be submitted to a ZBA or a planning agency?
I have a quick question, since you're here. Just wanted to ask, you have a zoning board of appeals, but is that through the governing board? Or is it a separate board? Because I was looking to inform zoning board of appeal members, of upcoming trainings. And
Oh,
I wasn't seeing like a list of names on the website, so I was kind of curious as to, is it because sometimes the local governing board, town board or council will take that role, as long as there's a valve for with a ZBO or.
We have a zoning board. I don't know that they've done a lot. I would love to have some training put in place. But we have done, because after the dissolution of the village, the planning is still a little like.
Wonky?
There's quite a few questions, because there's quite a few questions, because now you don't have a village, you have zoning throughout the entire town.
Well, they accepted it to be zoning only in the regional district.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would have been the village district. So it's the same as the water district.
But the rest of it is agriculturally zoned, right?
The rest of it is site plan review, subdivision.
Okay.
review.
Yeah.
Which,
Remember, we talked about this when Sarah's farm
Yes,
went
and
about
you
a
get
couple years ago.
so you get into this wonkiness.
Yeah.
And so Kim Irby is now the zoning board of appeals and clerk and also the planning. So that piece is helpful, as long as there's not a conflict.
Conflict.
So I'll connect with Kim, and actually I do have contact with Kim for training, so hopefully she'll pass it on. But I'm on the calendar for February at their board meeting, the planning board meeting, to do a presentation. I've been going around to all of them.
So just to clarify for everybody, if you weren't aware, Pamela has been, as time permits, reaching out to all of the planning boards and all the communities across the county and arranging to do a presentation at each of the boards to just give a better understanding of what and when you're supposed to be submitting, where resources for help are, how to contact, general information, and of course, information about upcoming training. So little by little, she's making her way.
Yes, I've done 3, and so far the response has been, this is very helpful.
And Pam, I would include the town boards because I know as the Salem town board, you know, you've got the planning board and then you've got the town board. that we use the education. to-
Because sometimes when the decision comes to the town board, they're kind of like a deer in headlights, like so, sometimes there are decisions that have to come in front of the town board. Most of the time it's seeker related, but it's still, they're not prepared.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
And this is great. Thank you.
wonderful. It was very exciting. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it very much to meet everybody and hear their questions.
where have you gone so far yet?
Whitehall Village.
Okay.
Yeah, Hebron, town planning board. And I just most recently went to the town of Granville. planning.
Excellent. Are you letting the supervisors know when you come?
I do, or I may have.
I want to know when you come to my Yeah.
I will definitely include supervisor.
Careful what you wish for.
All right, with any other business? All right. With no other business, we're adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.